Meet Clyde. Clyde heard of a new town developing nearby, immediately quit his job as a car salesman in the big city, packed up his life, and moved to the new town. Clyde enjoys walking to work so that he keeps in shape and gets to chat with the morning crowd, as you can see here. And he's excited to become a contributing member of this society. If you want to see how life works out for Clyde in this new town, keep watching. No one wants to miss the first few steps of a city being built in City Skylines. Hello world, and welcome to the very first episode in a brand new Let's Play style series of City Skylines. This map is called Highlake Point. It is by Zwishy. I will put a link to the map in the Steam workshop in the description below. It's a pretty new map, and when I saw it, I was immediately intrigued and thought that we should build on this together. This will be a modded series. I have about 100 mods installed, about 7,000 assets installed, but we're going to play with money turned on and where you have to unlock everything as you go, so it will still be kind of like the normal City Skylines game. And I am so incredibly excited to get started, so let's get into it. Looking at the starting square, I do have some plans going into this, but first we need to get some more roads unlocked. So what I always do when I start a city is just build one tiny little tile of the, smallest, least expensive road, whatever possible, and that will unlock all of these other things that we have not yet unlocked, including this 4-lane road, which is the same as this road here. Now, I would love to, how much does this cost? 60, monies per cell. I always forget what it is. And I would love to use the roads that have the yellow lines in the middle, as well as the no parking. So I think this should be free to upgrade, yes. And it even makes it a bit smaller, which is nice. Now it is probably going to be funky and not allow us to do this, but at least we can remember to upgrade this later when we unlock that square. And then I'm just gonna make sure that the folks will drive right through. That's fine. And what I'm going to do is we've got a little bit of farm area over here. I typically don't mind using the cheaty bits and putting in our own farmland and resources and stuff. I'm gonna maybe try to keep the prospect or whatever of doing that to a minimum. We probably will find excuses to do it in the future, but for now we'll just keep it to a bit of a minimum. And why don't we build this out? I don't want to go too far, so I'm just going to go that far. My biggest tip for you in building a new city, you would know this if you've already watched my tutorials. My City Skylines for Dummies tutorial is when you're starting your city, build very small, kind of as small as you can for the first little bit. So this over here will be industry, and then over here we'll start doing our residential and commercial, because we can eventually kind of expand all the way to the highway. We can have like commercial and offices into the highway, right? So let's get these starting roads in. And I always immediately do my traffic management. Traffic is going to be so minimal right now because we have just low density that will exist here, right? But I think it's worth doing at least the giveaways kind of right away. I said giveaways, I meant giveaways, so that it helps prevent future traffic problems and we don't have to think about it later. Perfect. Now we will need power and water, won't we? I am always tempted to go with green energy. It's my favorite way to do this. There is quite a bit of the area that will give us good energy production. I wonder if we maybe go over here with our generators. It'll keep it away from the noise pollution. It's got fine production. Let's put down, I'm gonna try 3 for now. It might be too many for money. We'll have to see. 53,000. Let's start with 2. And we do have a mod on that keeps power connected everywhere, but we don't have a mod for water. So we will have to do the water pipelines. I do also love to do this. This is my cheaty water tower, and I know that it's cheaty, I've just admitted it, but I think we're going to do it anyways. Where can we put this guy? He costs 240 per week. which is the same as this water tower, but this water tower pumps in 60,000 units, and this pumps in an incredible amount of units. So yep, we're absolutely going cheaty with this one, guys. It'll be fine. We're going to put him right up here. And then water out. Why don't we do, now these drains into the ocean, they're 320 per week is kind of what we would be looking at. So we could put in some clarifiers for similar cost. Maybe we can do some water management down here. I did forget to put down the roads for our industry, so why don't we do that real quick? The industrial roads that I like to use are not yet unlocked, so let's use some of these. Let's just do the usual kind of like 90-degree turns. No reason not to make things pretty immediately, right? Then we don't have to redraw them later. We can do the traffic management right away again. I don't like how it automatically puts in lights on these smaller roads. And then let's put down, we can just do like one water clarifier. I don't think we'll need more than one immediately, right? So let's put it over here, I guess. And then we need to do our pipes. Now for this city, I am going to do our pipes looking nice. So I'm going to follow the road as much as possible with these. Of course, as we go into the water buildings, that'll be a little bit more difficult, but that's fine. And the way that I do that is, let's go like this. Around these corners, I just take snapping off and I just do like very tiny little chunks, and I think it looks great. Eventually, if our node limit ever came into consideration or whatever, we might have to redo that. But for now, we will carry on like this. It looks fine. And there's our water done. So in starting a city, those are the only two services that you need to worry about. So we might as well get zoning. Let's put in a whole bunch of residential, and let's have a wee bit of commercial, put some more residential up here. We'll just let them all come in, and let's watch these guys move in. Now I am immediately a little concerned because I didn't see any actual cars coming in, but I have checked this interchange out and cars can definitely get into the city from here. So not too sure what's going on there, but when we actually click on some houses, there are in fact people living here. So maybe I won't worry about it quite yet. But we have a need for industry. So let's come over here, zone some industry, and we are not making money yet. And that is something that you need to kind of fix like immediately into a run of City Skylines. So let's press go. Let's get some industry coming in. I'm not going to speed it up quite yet. I still would really love to see some cars coming down. But we do have people zoning in. Oh, and we do finally have some cars coming into the city, and we've got some industry generating. That's good. I feel better about this save. I was Googling it. I was already frantic, thinking that my first Let's Play in so long was just gonna go for naught. But we have cars, we have citizens walking around. Perfect. Right now, we are just letting kind of whatever buildings spawn in that want to spawn in, but I do have some custom assets picked out from the workshop, and I've even set up some themes to use with districts to get them ready to go, but we need to unlock that by advancing further into the game. So let's put down a bit more industry. This up here will eventually be farming. Let's for now put down some more roads just like this. We don't have to be too pretty with it, right? And get a bit more industry happening. We will need some more residents as well as people come into the city. So going to extend this road out quite a bit. I think it's worth having it be fairly long. And then these roads that I've chosen, they're actually very cheaty. If we go down and we click on the road, they're actually free. But you know what? These roads cost so little anyways that I feel like I'm only cheating the tiniest bit by using them. So let's get a curve happening here. 5 and 5, and carry on our residential area. Let's zone some folks in here. Going to do some commercial shops just in these corners. We don't need a lot of commercial, but I think it'll be worth having them anyways, and let people have their like little corner stores is how I like to think of it. You'll notice right away that I'm not zoning at all really on these main roads, and that's something that you will probably see continue throughout our city building. One of my favorite traffic tips is to prevent bad traffic from ever happening, and so I personally do that by doing my traffic management with the traffic manager mod right away, especially with the giveaways, and also to not zone on main roads so that cars can only use those main roads to get to the smaller roads, and they only stop or, you know, slow down to turn in or whatever on these smaller roads. I am going to have a sip of my chamomile tea as I celebrate the fact that we are now making money. This, to me, is the sign that this city is already successful. We're good to go. I like to start my cities off very slow, making sure that I'm only building a little tiny bit at a time, because the sooner you get into the positive weekly income, the sooner you can feel confident that your city will succeed. Now that we do have the money coming in, let's continue to build some roads for our city to expand. I will continue with this kind of gridded, kind of not gridded, sort of looking all right style that we have going on. And why don't we aim a little bit bigger this time? Come all the way, let's go out here. We could do some kind of cool curves. So this is how I like to do these nice 90-degree curves. You just saw me draw it out like that, right? Then I delete what I can from the corner. I grab the freeform road and I kind of start like, I don't start back here. I start in a little bit, and I will see it takes me 6 to get to the same horizontal spot as this. So I start here and then I go 6 to the left as well, and then it's a 90-degree angle. And that is a mod that shows the degrees and helps you with that. I think it's Fine Road Tools, Fine Road something. It's a mod that pretty much everybody should have if you are doing the modded. So over here, why don't we do the same thing? We'll do 6 and 6 to keep it kind of symmetrical, kind of nice looking. And then let's fill in this center bit with a little bit more of a grid than we had before. But I want to connect to this road as non-often as possible, if that, you know, is a verbiage that we're going to be using. So instead, what I'm gonna do, why don't I take a 45-degree angle from this road, and then I'm gonna connect that 45 instead. So we've got an 8 and an 8, and we'll connect it there. Excellent, so that kind of looks neat, right? We will do our traffic management, we will do the water piping, and let's get this city growing. We have hit our first milestone of Little Hamlet, reaching a population of 460 people in the town. So now we can start to work with our taxes. We need garbage, healthcare, and education. As I go over to the taxes board and adjust these, this is my first time and probably my last time for quite a long while mentioning this sort of thing. It feels so cheesy, but I noticed in my YouTube stats that actually 89% of people in general that are watching my channel are not subscribed. So if you're ready for more City Skylines tutorials, Let's Play style, you want to watch this city go through, please do subscribe to the channel. It's really great to have you guys here. Now, looking at the taxes, this is how I always do my taxes. I keep my 2 residentials at 11% so that the demand for residential continues to come in, and I keep my commercials and my industries at 12% unless, you know, some sort of situation arises where we want to change that up. And we have $40,000 to play with to do garbage, healthcare, and schooling. Let's get schooling done immediately. I do have quite a few school assets available, and I saved this spot while I was zoning for a school. I thought it was a place that would make a lot of sense. Our normal school costs 10,000 and the vanilla school holds 300. This guy is only 12 and a bit and holds 500 and a bit. So let's put in this Clekerson's Elementary. I do really love this asset. I'm going to put it right here and I won't zone beside it. So that's cool, that's done. Do we have high schools yet? We don't have high schools yet. Right, we need to reach a population of 1,400. Let's do garbage next. Now, I know typically you would have kind of like a landfill and then later on make the recycling thing happen. I would love just to kind of dive right into recycling. So how much does this guy cost? Yeah, let's get this recycling center happening kind of right away. Gonna put him right there, and then I'm going to use just this little tiny dumpster to help with it. It holds how much? That many. 3 million? Is that what this thing holds? Oh, okay, so it is quite a bit less, which actually feels, you know, a little bit balanced, right? So put that down. And then we only have 12,000 left for a hospital. We could do the vanilla one. What else do we have? Desert Springs. This one's very pretty. I like this one quite a bit. It holds 100 and this holds 100. So you know what? This is the same as the vanilla one in cost and how much it processes, or, you know, words and stuff. So let's put it down right here. And we have only $3,000 to our name, but we have a little bit of demand coming in. We have all of the services that we need. Let's go. I'm really excited about this city, guys. Now, I recognize that we could turn probably our water budget especially down in order to save a little bit of money. But guys, we're doing so well with money that I'm just not going to worry about it, because we will eventually start to use up more of that. And oh wow, okay, so electricity we do need to work on. Why don't we do that with our only $3,000? Uh-oh. That costs 6,000 if we go with the wind turbines. What are our other options? We do have some solar panels as an option, and again, they're kind of cheaty. This one is $3,000 for just the one, but I kind of love the idea of having like a whole bunch of solar panels coming down here. It would fill up this space nicely without having like traffic spawning in and out of it. And I also kind of like them on the angle. That's usually how you see them, right? In fields. So let's start filling out this space. That will help us with our power. It should help us quite a bit, yes. And then as we need more power, we'll just fill that space out more. We have demand for commercial and residential coming in. Our area up here is zoned. Let's do a little bit of commercial over here. This low density commercial, I like to intersperse it in and around the residential, and even sometimes in and around the industry. It gives our industry workers like somewhere to go for lunch, I guess is the easiest way for me to say it. And it doesn't have enough noise pollution associated with it that I'm nervous or whatever about putting it around the residential. So I think this is just fine. Remember how I said that we have a little bit of farming up here? We could maybe even take advantage of this, or we could paint in a little bit of farming and just expand on what's already there. I feel like that's not cheating too bad, you know? So let's do it. Let's paint in a little bit of our own farming. We'll do, oh, it's quite a bit darker than what was already there. And we'll just do that. We'll just expand on what's already exists. That's cool. And I wonder what the ground will look like. Okay, so the ground is a good indication. That's good. Let's grab this road here. We will carry it through. How do I want this to look? If I do this, that's like 15 units. I'm kind of going freeform for a second, but I think I know what I want. I think I do want that. And then why don't we, because we are about to do farming, why don't we get into these roads here? I really love this road pack. Who makes these? Of course it's Ronix. I love all of these roads, and I don't know which one I want to use. I think we're gonna use, what's the difference between the asphalt and the gravel? Wow, the gravel's really bright, isn't it? So I think we're going to use this one, the asphalt road. And to me, that will just feel a little bit more like country, farming, that kind of thing. What does it look like if we have it continue off of that road? Not the worst, to be honest. It just looks like it kind of naturally developed, right? We can have it connect to this main road there. I don't know how this is eventually going to end. I'll probably do like a loop like this. So it kind of looks like a B or a musical note, if you're a music guy. But you know what? We might just hit the next milestone before we have to fill this in. So we will continue to get ready for it. We'll zone a little bit more residential over here, although it doesn't look like they are coming in quite as quickly as I would like them to. We'll get a little bit more commercial here as well to maybe help encourage the residents to show up. But we are still gaining people. I'm gonna bring it up to 3 speed. And we have reached Worthy Village, so we can unlock another tile if we want to, but we won't do that for quite a little bit. But now we can do our districts, which means that we can do themed buildings, so we won't have so many of these cat buildings zoning in on their own. We do need to put down fire and police, absolutely, but I also want to get some agriculture happening over here. So what should we tackle first? Why don't we turn this into a district? And what I'm actually going to do is I'm not going to use the Industries DLC for a little while. So we're just going to do the zoned district over here, and I'm actually going to include these buildings. We are going to turn this into the farming industry, please. And why don't we might as well also turn it into organic and local produce. Sure. There won't be any housing, so we won't worry about that. But let's put down some more industry along here. We will need it. And the way that the game works is that where the ground has the fertile land available, it will zone buildings that pull the farming resource out of the ground. So like crops and animals, that kind of thing. And then over here, there is some of this area that doesn't have the farming in the ground available, right? And I'm actually just gonna tidy that up. So what will happen is these buildings will break down for now, and then they will rezone themselves as buildings that use this raw resource and they produce it or they industrialize it or factory it, you know, whatever the words are, into a better good. So that will bring us more money. Now, this does bring us to the good point of district names, and I have a Patreon set up. There is a link in the description below, and for as low as $1, you can support me on Patreon. And what I offer my patrons is that I will name things in cities or in video games after them as a first option. My friend Mighty O loves little piggies, and I think he would be a great person to name the farming industry after. Don't worry, Mighty, we are not harming any animals at all on any of these farms. So thank you, Mighty, for supporting me. This is Mighty Farms. Let's get to the fire and police services. You know what, I should be looking at this screen. I really like to use the green to judge kind of how far apart we need to put these. This is kind of like a small town vibe, right? So why don't we put a volunteer fire station over here? I personally don't mind putting services on these more main roads. I think it kind of makes sense so that they can get out and do their thing as quickly as they need to. So I'm going to put this fire department here. And then I'm going to want to put one more out this way. We can just put this wee guy out this way. Let's put him kind of right by the school. That kind of makes sense. Or we can just tuck him in here. Perfect. Now we only have $9,000. We still need to do police. I'm really great at planning ahead, I promise. We've got a rural police station here. It's only got a capacity of 5, but it is better than nothing. Right, that's gonna be our solar farms. So why don't we put this police station here instead, and that will have to suffice for now. Let's check on our electricity. We do need to put down another solar panel array, and we will put it there. Once we get more of these in, I'm gonna tidy them up with the Move It mod. Our water is probably fine. How is our school doing? It is just fine. And I don't think we have access to high schools yet, right? I always forget when they come in. Right, 1400, I think we already said that. I will ask you in the audience, though, to help me name the city. It is currently Spring Valley, that's the default name, and I'm open to you guys offering suggestions in the comments. As far as a theme goes, I mean, my name's Toady. I'm happy to have it toad themed or frog themed. Let me know what you think we should name the city in the comments below. Oh, look, Mighty, here's the pigs. Oh my goodness, they're so cute. We do have a good amount of demand for commercial, so I'm going to come over this way and draw in some roads over here. I'm gonna go back to these roads that are free, but mostly because I like how small they are and how nice they look. And going to make this area like a little bit of a shopping center. Generally, you don't want to just zone things as giant chunks of like only industry here, only commercial here, especially with the commercial. I prefer, maybe it's a personal thing, I prefer to have my commercial kind of interspersed around. I prefer that because doing it how I mentioned, having them kind of interspersed, sprinkled around, allows your Sims to be able to walk to work. It means that they're not just driving to this area for the sole purpose of shopping. It just kind of makes foot traffic and traffic in general a little bit tidier. But this is going to be such a small area that I don't mind doing a little bit of this sort of thing. So I'm actually very tempted. Can we make that like a 45-degree again? Yeah, I know that's a really sharp turn. It is a really sharp turn, isn't it? Here, I'm gonna cheat a little bit. We're gonna make it that big. How are we doing for money? We're okay for money. I'm going to do my same kind of style with the corner, but then it'll just be a tighter corner. There we go. And then do that. Excellent. Get rid of you. Do that. Do that. So many steps into making these nice curved roads, eh? Great. And then once we have the option, we can put some footpaths over here that will help people get over to the commercial, a little shopping center. Just a little shopping center. Nothing too drastic. Let's zone a good amount of commercial in here. We could do some commercial up there, and then maybe we do a little bit of industry down here. Yeah, let's get industry happening like so. A little bit more commercial this way. And then we need quite a bit more residential in the city. But what I'm going to do is put down actually 2 more solar panels. Where on earth did they go? They're right here. And make sure that we are set to go for electricity for a while. That'll really help us out. Water, we're still totally fine. But if you would like to see all that residential demand fulfilled, you will have to wait until the next episode. If you enjoyed this episode, please do let me know by giving the video a thumbs up. There is a video right here below me. Click it and I am sure you will learn something new about City Skylines. And guys, I will catch you next time.